All right, we are live. Low post, mid post, high post, post game sports. What it do? Got a real treat for y'all today. I got my man, the all-time leader in assists at Elkhart Memorial, the 4-year varsity letterman, all NIC, all semi-state team, NIC conference champion, a player that was recruited by USC, Indiana State, and Purdue, among others. Lashon Johnson, what it do, brother?
How you doing, bro? Good to be on your show, man. Thanks for having me.
I appreciate it, man. So take me back to the beginning, man. What got you interested in the game of basketball?
I think I don't know. I think it was just in my genes. I think my first real true meeting with basketball. I was 7 years old, and it was at
Hmm.
this church here in Elkhart when they had a little basketball league, and I went on and joined the team, and we would have games. And man, I was like I said, I was 7 years old, and I would get like 25 points, 30 points. And when my big cousins, when they would show up, I would just go off because I thought I had a point to prove, even as a 7 year old.
Hmm. Hmm. Was there any particular NBA player that motivated you to play the game?
Back then, when I was coming up, it was Julius Irving, Dr. J. He was the very first one that inspired me to become a basketball player. He just I was just thrilled with Julius. He was great, and on the court he was a smooth guy. Never got rattled. And even off the court, he was a class act, and I like that about him. And I wanted to pattern my game after him. I got some moves from him. He was the first one, uh, and then Michael Jordan, of course, came after that. But Julius Erving, Dr. J, was the man that set the tone for me.
Hmm. Take me back to your high school career, man. Talk about just talk about your high school career, how it started, um, and some of the players you played against back in the day.
My high school career, I can venture to say it took right off immediately. Even surprised me myself. I was a freshman. I this little skinny freshman. I probably weighed 147 pounds, 150 soaking wet at that time, and I'm being generous with myself. I was pretty slim, um, but I was pretty quick, and I had some pretty good moves, and I can dribble the ball pretty good. Started off on the freshman team, and not to toot my own horn, but I dominated, and I was in class one day. I'll never forget, and the freshman coach came and pulled me out of class. Was like, "Yeah, we're thinking about moving you up." And I'm thinking, okay, to the JV, the junior varsity squad. Okay, that was cool because I felt that I should have been on that team to begin with. I shouldn't even been on the freshman team. And then he went on to start talking. He was like, "No, not the JV, but to the varsity." And my heart sank. I'm like, "What?" I wasn't expecting that. So that night, but he came to me during the day during class, and then that night I started practicing with him. I end up I was still on the freshman team. I would practice with them, and then right after the freshman practice, I would go over there to the varsity, and I'll never forget everybody looking at me go over there and practice with the varsity with the big guys. I was only 14 at the time, but that inspired me to get going. I'm like, okay, this is real deal here, and it was mind blowing for me at that time.
Was the physicality something that was different for you, or
Oh
were you
yeah, the game.
used to playing with bigger, stronger guys?
Growing up, I had always played with older players, but it was like at the parks and stuff, but not in a game setting like with referees and stuff like that. It wasn't that. Yeah, the game was more sped up. I had to pick up the pace, almost on every level picks and uh, just almost every play, every aspect of it. You had to pick up the pace. You couldn't be lollygagging. You had to come on with it.
Right. So being a star athlete like you were, did you notice how maybe people at school would treat you different? Maybe teachers, classmates, people
Um,
like that?
oh man, that's an excellent question, brother. Yeah, things seem to change almost immediately. Yeah, like I said, that's an excellent question. Um, I went from being, people's friends or whatever to almost foes, to enemies almost. I don't know if it was because of the jealousy, but that's what my parents said. They was like, "Hey, you're on the varsity. People looking at that, and they didn't like that." And now I'm older. I look back on it, and they were right. Uh, People didn't like that. They felt that maybe they should have been on varsity or whatever. But I had a special talent around that time that I was where I should have been. And
So you
yeah.
witnessed a lot of jealousy.
Oh
What?
man, it was throughout the whole 4 years I was there. It was pretty bad, man.
hmm So what about the perks of being a star basketball player?
Oh, the
Talk
perks,
about.
the
Yeah, go
perks.
ahead.
Yep, I'm sorry, but yeah, the perks came with it. The teachers, you asked about the teachers. They praised me and will pull me to the side and be like, "Look, you got something going here. Get your GPA up, and sky's the limit for you. This and that." And they were pulling for me, so to speak. And I like that. They weren't hating on me. They was like, "Look, this is what you need to be doing because you got something special going on." Back then in the 80s, 70s, and 80s and stuff, to get on varsity as a freshman, it wasn't an easy task. And I'm not sitting here tooting my own horn, but it wasn't easy.
Right. So let's talk about some of the competition. Where are some of the players you faced off against playing in Northern Indiana?
Oh man, that Northern Indiana conference was the conference of probably the toughest conference in the whole state. I'm not just saying it because I played in it. I'm talking about from top. Indianapolis probably would have gave us a run but we'd have gave them a run. And then Southern Indiana, I think we'd have gave all of them a run for their money. It was just a tough conference because we had such great talent, man. We had LaSalle High School, a couple players there. We had Clay with Lashon Johnson. Uh, uh, Washington, we had a couple players. The names aren't coming up on my head right now, but Clay, we had a couple players. Like I said, Lashon Johnson played for Clay, and Skylar Diggins' father played for Clay. And oh man, he had a sharpshooter on him. His name, I can't. It's not coming to my head right now, but he would 3-pointers back then when they first came out. He just killed them, and that's where she got her game from. That left hand, and he just killed it. Um, just great players in the Northern Indiana Conference back then.
Did you play against Lee Naline?
No, Lee Naline and those guys, Jerron Cornell and them, they came like I think 3 or 4 years after I did.
Okay.
Yeah, they came. They were 94. I was 89, so they were a little bit after that. But those guys
Right.
were great. Over
How,
there, over there at Riley was they were young at the time, but they were up and coming. Andre Owens, Jamal Sylvester, Eric Ford, them guys were great, man.
so how about players like Sean Kemp and Rick Fox? Can you talk
Oh,
about those matchups?
those guys played in the NLC, the Northern Lakes Conference back then, which was hardcore too, because
hmm
because of those guys. Sean was a 4-year letterman, 4-year All State. Um, just a man playing against boys back then. he did whatever he wanted to on the court, and he was just an awesome player. Sometimes even during the game, you'll watch yourself watching him do some moves while on the court because he was just that great. He he could dribble, he could shoot. Of course, around the basket, he was almost virtually unstoppable. Just an awesome talent. Just an awesome talent, man. And then Rick Fox, people tend to forget he was just down there at Warsaw. And when I bring his name up, when I tell people I played against him, they're like, "Oh yeah. Now I remember he did go to Warsaw, and he was just an awesome talent. He was a big guy with a big wide body, and he was strong and just dominant. Another guy like a man playing against boys. And those two guys we knew were NBA status type players. We knew it then and when they were in high school.
Right. So talk about some of the traps that were in place for a star high school basketball player. Some of the things that you had to avoid to keep yourself on track and focus on the game and your future.
Good question. That was even to this day and going forward in the future for high school players. Traps and pitfalls are out there, man. They got more now than what we had back then, but they were always there. And to name a few, girls, of course, that's always at the top of the list.
Mm-hmm.
Drugs, but drugs and alcohol wasn't my thing back then. It just wasn't. So I knew that wasn't going to trip me up. And grades, going to class and trying to excel in the classroom to stay eligible and go on and try to go to college, keeping your GPA up. Those were the pitfalls that were going on, especially in the 80s. People think, okay, let me just tie my sneakers up, put my uniform on, and get out there and perform. There's a little bit more to it than that. There's the backdrop is tough.
Okay, I got you.
Yep, the backdrop is that they don't. Well, they talk about it now because so many people have fell victim to it, but that backdrop gets you. You're done.
Right. So let's talk about your recruitment process, man. You received some big offers from schools like USC, Indiana State, and Purdue. Talk about your recruitment process.
USC, they had to start recruiting me my sophomore year. And this is USC Trojans out there, out there in Los Angeles, California. And
Mm-hmm.
over that time, man, I probably got 300 letters from them or more. They were sending me 3 or 4 letters a day, seemed like. I mean, I had this big old garbage bag full of letters, specifically from the USC Trojans. And George Raveling, he was the coach back then, and he would sign letters and stuff to me, come on out here to LA and make a commitment. And they really wanted me, but I thought my sophomore year was a little early to pick a school. Indiana State had a gobs of letters from them. Purdue, that was more my senior year. They were coming up to see somebody else play, and then they were inquiring about me after they came to that open gym. Those were the top 3 schools that wanted me to join the ranks, but I'm not gonna sit here and lie. I didn't want to excel in the classroom. Not that I couldn't. I had the brains to do it because my freshman year I was my GPA was 3.2 or something. It was 3.5, somewhere up in there. And then I started. I don't know if I got the big head or what, or just clocked out. I don't know. But as time went on, I didn't excel in the classroom like I should have, and sky would have been the limit for me. I remember a time at a banquet we had, and it was my junior year, and the guy, Dennis Kraft, he was the sports writer for the Elkhart Truth back then, and he was like, for a player who could take his game as far as he wants to take it. And then he called my name, Tim Johnson. I was like shocked that he felt that way. I think what was going on with me is other people had more confidence in me than I had in myself at that time. they saw it. They saw my potential, and I guess I didn't see it like I should have saw it, at that time.
Was there a specific reason why you didn't believe in yourself as much as these other coaches did?
Uh, to be honest with you, I'm not sure. Maybe I had a few distractions, but that still shouldn't have threw me off because, like I said, I wasn't stupid or nothing. It just I just didn't want to excel in the classroom, and that's all I had to do, and skies would have been the probably the limit for me. I don't know, maybe if not the NBA, then overseas or something like that. Uh, at that particular time, man, I think about it quite often, even to this day. Like, okay, what should I have been doing to set myself up a little bit better?
Hmm.
It wasn't the talent. I pretty much had that. It was a classroom setting that I needed to excel a little bit better. And I knew that I could do it because I had enough. I did enough to stay eligible and stay on a team and be okay like that. But it was a little extra effort that I could have put into it.
Was Gene Katie the basketball coach at Purdue
Yeah,
during your recruit?
at that time he was. But when we had that open gym, that it was an assistant that was up there at the time that he had sent. But
Okay, okay.
I would see playing against Sean Kemp and Rick Fox, man. I would see Bobby Knight, Gene Katie on the sidelines all the time. You know, all type of coaches, college coaches was just always around this area at that time. It was top notch talent here.
Okay, cool. So let's go into your college career. So your grades wasn't up to par, but you were a talented player. You end up going to a junior college in Wyoming. Can
Yes.
you talk about your time there?
Oh yeah, that was redemption time for me. I should have redeemed myself because it was an excellent school. I'm not gonna lie. The time I went out there, they were ranked 12th in the nation amongst all junior colleges. As far as basketball. I get out there, man, and I go into the coach's office, and I look on the wall, and he got pictures with David Robinson, Big Larry Johnson. It was, matter of fact, it was the '88 USA team. He was one of the assistants on there, and it blew me. He had any connect that you, he had all the connections, man. Wherever school you wanted to go, he knew. Coach Ken Rocklitz had all the connects that you wanted with the NBA, colleges, whatever. He had it all. That was one reason why I went there. It was
Okay.
the top junior colleges in the nation, and they still are. Northwest College is the name of it in Powell, Wyoming.
Hmm.
And I still look at the roster and stuff from time to time, and they still pretty decent program. He's retired now, but they still got a pretty decent program out
So you go from Indiana to Wyoming.
there. Yes. Talk
Talk
about culture
about,
shock.
yeah, talk about how the culture was different, how things were different in Wyoming from Indiana.
Oh man, it's like another land. It's like another world almost. Out west, uh, it ain't as civilized as it is here. I mean, I'm not talking about as far as not people not knowing what's going on, but it's just slow and people are just easy going. It's just way different, man. It's like 10 years behind the time or something. And yes, I saw real cowboys and oxen and all that stuff, mountains. I love the mountains and stuff like that. I remember a time first getting out there. We conditioning, and they called it the loop. Now our school was surrounded by mountains and hills, um, so we take off running, and I didn't know it was a 3.2 mile loop. We take off running, man, and I'm like, damn, where's the campus? And then you don't even see the hills and the mountains no more. It's like you in a whole nother neighborhood and everything, man. I was in the best shape of my life, and the air out there is very thin, and it's the conditioning out there is way different. Um, Coming from here to there, it's like I think it's a mile high above sea level, so the air is a little bit different. And I didn't know to pace myself. And oh my goodness, man, I thought I was gonna pass out that first time. I'm like, woo! But I was in some of the best shape of my life, though. I was able to just run, run, and run after that. Yeah.
Were you, how can I put this? Were there a lot of black folk out there? Because Wyoming is man, it's a very small state as far as population.
Right. It's a it's a
Were you
big
one of the
state.
few black people out there in Wyoming during that time?
Right now, and even to this day, it's not very many out there. Out there is like for cowboys, ranchers, uh, the real cowboy boots. I knew all the different cowboy boots, ropers. Uh, that knew the name of some boots out there. The whole Western vibe was just different. We would go down to Denver a couple times. We went through Denver to go to a tournament, and even the vibe. It's a city, but it's just different. It's west. It's out west, in Colorado, and it's a whole different vibe out that way than
Yep,
here
yep.
in the Midwest and in the East Coast. It's just different. But
Got you.
I,
Got you.
I'm
Got you.
not gonna lie, I liked it. It was okay after a while. When I first got there, yeah, that first semester I was homesick. I was like, oh my goodness, that was the longest 4 months of my life. I'll never forget it. I would talk to my parents on the phone and stuff, but it wasn't like being home.
Got you. Well, how like on the basketball court while you were out there? Like, how was your game? Did you dominate? Did you did
My
you
fr-
take a lesser role? How'd your basketball career go out there in Wyoming?
my freshman year started off a little bit slow. Here it is. Like I said, I dominated in high school here, and then I got out there with the same mindset somewhat, not knowing. Okay, I'm thinking, all right, this junior college, I can probably dominate this too, but got a wake up call real quick. These are all most of the guys that are D1 players that needed to get their GPA right or do something else with their game, something.
Okay, okay. Hold on, I think we lost LaShawn. Give me a second. Yeah, I think we lost LaShawn. Let me see if I can get him back up. Give me a second. Priceless Entertainment. Priceless Entertainment. What it do? Carl Daniels. What it do? Moss Moss. What it do? Hold on, give me 1 second. 1 second, folks. Darth Baby, what it do, homie? Carl Daniels, yes, sir. I appreciate the support, brother.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you, bro. You there?
Yeah, I don't know what happened, man. Kicked me out. Sorry about that.
Yeah, no problems. No problems. We good. We good. Okay, so uh, your your uh your junior college experience. You're in Wyoming. Do
Yes.
you guys have much success on the court? Do you guys win championships, conference championships?
Well, my freshman year, we were runner up in our conference. Um, this college, Sheridan College, they ended up winning the conference that year. We were right behind them, and they had a couple guys that played there. Ended up going D1 after that. They had a lot of guys from the East Coast went to Sheridan College for some strange reason. Guys from New York and Baltimore and stuff like that, they ended up going to Sheridan. Um, and Cheyenne College, they were pretty tough too. They had a bunch of people that came from L.A., Los Angeles, and California. They ended up coming there. It shocked me seeing from where people were from coming to Wyoming. But those were some of the better junior colleges in the nation, man. There in Texas.
Got you. Got you. Got you.
Yeah.
So you spent 2 years in
Yes.
Wyoming, correct? Then you transferred to
Yep.
Indiana
Southern
Southern,
Indiana.
was
I
it?
went down there to go down there. I transferred there, and the likes to go there to play. Um, just in, again, just didn't want to my GPA. I just didn't want to. I wanted to. I'm not gonna lie. I wanted to party and hang out and teeter on the borderline. And in college, you just can't do that. Just can't do that in college. You gotta get it going.
Right, 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 right. So were there any players in specific that you played against in junior college that maybe made it to the NBA?
Uh no, I don't recall any that made it to the league, but quite a few of them that I seen it in Division One though. There's a couple of them ended up going to New Mexico State, Niagara out there in New York. Seen them on TV on ESPN. I'm like, man, them guys right there, I could get with them. But like I said again, the classroom comes first, man, and I ain't gonna lie, it tripped me up. Again, like not the fact that I was dumb, but so to speak, I was because I didn't want to get my classwork done, and that was the number one priority. And you don't realize that until it's all said and done.
Were
And
you were you successful on the court at Southern Indiana?
I ended up not even playing there. I went down there to transfer and try to get my GPA up, and end up coming home after that year. After that semester, after that year was up, I ended up pretty much, I'll call it a burnout, athlete burnout. We just burn out, um, because this thing starts, man, and elementary. It starts way back then, and that's many years of going to school and then playing ball, and then high school is when it really counts, and you really working for something, and you got to get your grades right and then perform on the court too, and you go to college. It's even that's what it's all about, really nothing else. That's what they pay you the scholarship for. You actually that's your job actually, and then you get burnt out. Um, my sophomore year in Wyoming, I ended up making the all tournament team. Averaged 26 points there. And I remember a time that coach called me in his office. He's like, "Man, get in here, shut the door." When he say shut the door, we all know, we all knew something. He ain't gonna say something you ain't gonna like. And he's like, "Man, I'm getting a lot of calls from you, man. Division I schools and stuff." He said, "But your GPA too low right now, and nothing I can tell them because what you're doing in the classroom." But I look back on all of that as it taught me a lesson. Like, don't be jacking around with your life, and you don't realize that time frame is so small. That window is so small, man, between 14 years old and 21, 22. Those 6, 7 years go by like it's nothing, man.
Right.
Those are your time. That's your time to shine. And I even
Right.
had a little more time because I got on the varsity as a 14-year-old, as a freshman. So I was able
Right.
to, display my talent a little bit longer. Some people only, get on varsity maybe they senior year or junior and senior year.
Right.
They got that to work with. But I had a little more time to work with, and I took it for granted. I ain't gonna lie, you know,
Hmm.
I took it for granted, and I shouldn't have.
So
But
transferring to Southern Illinois, you were expecting to play, correct?
yes,
So how frustrating was that?
and I go to the
Not
game. Sorry, I didn't mean to
not
cut you off, but yeah, going to the games, watching them play, and like, man, I need, should have been out there, and I wasn't, and that and it hurt me. But then it still didn't sink in that I needed to go to class and go concentrate on that. I think, and it's just my personal opinion about myself. I think at that point, man, I was burnt out and not knowing what I had, and I still should have kept fighting for myself, and I didn't, and ended up giving up. And then after, like I said, after that year that in Southern Indiana, I ended up coming on back home and playing in leagues around here.
right. So what was the deciding factor for you to end your collegiate career in basketball and come on home to Elkhart County?
That summer, I was like, man, I'm done. I was like, I'm done with it. The fight was it wasn't in me anymore, and again, like I said, I should have kept fighting for myself because it's not easy, but you got to keep battling, um, and try to give yourself a fighting chance. And I don't think I gave myself that after my third year in college. I just pretty much threw my hands up in the air and was like, whatever. And I should have because I got back here to Elkhart County with, like I said, I was playing in the summer leagues, winter leagues, and stuff like that. People were like, "Man, you need to get you an agent and go overseas or something. You can make some money over there." And then I could have, but and I didn't even pursue that. I think one time I looked back then it was a phone book for some agents and talked to a couple of them, man, and I just left it at that. They was like, "Get back with me, this and that, this and that." This will cost this. I didn't even want to pay the money no more. I think I was just burnt out with the whole ordeal. See, people think that you just get out there on the court, football field, baseball diamond, and do your thing. It's a lot more stuff, especially after high school. You pretty much your own walking billboard. You got to advertise yourself. You got to keep yourself going. You got to work out. You got to eat right. You got to you on your own. There's nobody to push you. You're an adult now, and I didn't have that, and I would only push myself, enough to, stay active so I can be on the court and play in those leagues, and that was about it.
Got you. So your career is done. There's no more basketball. You live in a regular life. Did the way people treat you change after your career was done?
Oh man, that's an excellent question, man. Yes, because I still got questions. Like, man, you going? It was the overseas thing then. It wasn't college. Because coming out of high school, man, who you signing with, man? Where you going? I mean, I heard that every day. I mean, almost every day. You signing with them? You gonna sign over there? I mean, and then I thought it was over, bro. I thought, okay, I'm done with basketball. I'm just playing in these tournaments, whatever, whatever. Um, that's it. No, they it kept coming. Man, you need to get you a agent, man, and go overseas. You need to do this. You need to do that. And this, I'm 23, 24, 25 years old, 26 years old at the time, and at that time I was pretty much done with it in my mind. But they didn't. There it is again. People perceive you different than you perceive yourself. I guess they still saw something that I didn't see in myself at that time. Um, Me personally, I was done with it. The injuries, I didn't have no major injuries at that time, but the jam fingers, the rolled ankles, all that stuff, I was pretty much done with it. And they were like, "No, you need you need to be doing this. You need to get your agent and go overseas and play for one of them teams over there." Is what they thought.
Right, right. So the hunger wasn't there anymore.
Excuse me.
So your hunger wasn't there anymore.
Yeah, it pretty much went out of me, man. You know, I still love the game of, even to this day, I still love the game of basketball. I would never not love the game of basketball, but the desire to get out there on the court, put your body through that rigorous activity, yeah, that's done, and it's been done for a while.
Got you, got you, got you, got you. What was your biggest accomplishment as a basketball player coming from Northern Indiana? What was your
Uh,
biggest accomplishment?
uh, I would say my senior year, we made the Elite Eight as a team. We semi-states, South Bend, St. Joe knocked us out. Rodney Holmes and Darren Timor at the time, they were awesome guards for St. Joe. Rodney, I think he's still in the top five for leading scorers in South Bend history. I know he's in the top 10. If not, I'll be surprised. But those guys were awesome. We made it one more game. We'd have made it to state in Final Four to Indianapolis, and that was always a dream of mine. But we were one game away. They ended up knocking us out. That was one of my biggest accomplishments. And then I made y'all semi-state team out of that tournament, and that was one of my biggest ones right there for me.
Post game sports, low post, mid post, high post. Make sure y'all hit the like button as y'all come in. If there's anything you can share with this next generation of basketball players, anything, any advice, any motivation, what would you share to those players?
I would say stay focused. If football, basketball, baseball, soccer, whatever it is that you're pursuing, go for it. Don't shortchange yourself. Go. Whatever it takes to for you to excel, do that. Don't hold yourself back, because then you'll be 40, 50 years old looking back like shoulda, woulda, coulda. No, lay it all on the line. Um, and don't look back. Just lay it all on the line. If you feel you got a special talent, pursue that. Don't and don't waver. Keep going, and sky's the limit for you. Especially if you're a special talent. Like I said, you keep going. You don't stop. I've seen so many athletes over the years not make it because either they give up or they just give up. It's what I've seen, and they go off and do the things that they're not supposed to do. Some go to jail. Some have died. All of that. Don't do that. Move forward and and save yourself.
Yep, 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 yep. I feel that. Real quick, because I know we're running out of time. How would you say the game of basketball has changed from your era to now?
back when I was playing, we had a big man. Everything went through the big man first. Even you had dynamic guards, but everything still went through the center. Now you may have a center, but everybody's shooting threes. Everybody's an outside player now. And that 3-point line has changed the whole dynamics of basketball, period, on every level. Everybody wants to shoot three, and sometimes all you need is a 2-pointer to stay in the game. But you might come down, shoot a three, miss it, go back down on the other end, and the other team make a three. That's a 5 or 6 point swing right there. And I don't think people understand that. Even on the NBA level, I see it. I don't think they understand that. Pound down low. 2 points is 2 points. It's better than zero, shooting a way out 3-pointer. And that has changed the game a lot, man. It's like a track meet out there anymore. You have to be super fast and a great athlete to be out there anymore. It ain't no plays hardly.
Right. Good stuff, man. Good stuff. So, last time we had a conversation, you talked about putting out content on YouTube. Can you tell the people where to find you at on YouTube?
Yes, that's Lashon Johnson. That's the name of my platform. And I'm just speaking about issues that are going on now here in the world. A lot of it's coming through biblically, and learning who we are. I never thought that I would learn who I was in the Bible, and not teaching that. With any book, bro, you don't know who the characters are. You don't know where you're going. Like this one verse, it's like Deuteronomy 28:68. It says, "I shall send you into slavery again with ships," and that just sparked my interest. I'm like, that happened to us. That's us, And in 1 Kings 8:46, you shall be afflicted for 400 years. I mean, what people is that? That's us, and that has it just had to spark my interest. And the whole entire Bible is about our captivity and the plight of Black people, our demise, and all the way back to Moses and us breaking the commands and then being put into this position by the Most High because we've breaking His commandments. We got a oath with Him, and we this is the second time breaking it, and He don't punish a little bit; He punishes hard. And I got the true understanding of what happened to my people. I've always been on the journey like, what happened to us? Why are we put in this position? Why most nations hate us? Why do police kill us and they get off and everybody enjoys it? They love it. The Bible explains it all. And it's just so fascinating. But what people are not willing to do is sit down and listen or sit down and be taught. And that has been Black people's demise, is because we don't like to listen or read or gain good proper knowledge. Everybody think they're just going to waltz into heaven with the same attitudes that we got, and that's so far from the truth. There's some requirements that He wants us to be doing, because when He bring the new kingdom, it's going to be all new stuff going on. It's not going to be this. And people need to understand that.
Deep stuff. So, in closing, man, tell the people where they can find you at if you got a social media.
I got a Facebook. Again, that's Lashon Johnson, Lashon, last name Johnson. You can find me on Facebook there. Again, my YouTube channel is Lashon Johnson also. You can come check out some of my work I got there. I'm just talking, but I got some good knowledge for you. And just come check me out, because it's time. We live in a time now, time to be woke, for people to wake up and smell the real coffee, and playtime is over with. All these things aren't happening for a reason. These pandemics, inflation, all this stuff is not happening for a reason. The Most High is getting ready to show His face. He's getting ready to show us who's the real boss, and he's just preparing us to get ready. That's why we got all this stuff going on. But check me out.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Definitely one of the most wise men I know. It's just a pleasure knowing you.
I
Just a
appreciate that.
man, a great person to sit down and chop it up with. I got a lot of knowledge and wisdom from you, and just a great big brother, great father figure in the community. And I appreciate you coming on and doing this interview, man. And I'll check you out soon.
Appreciate it, brother.
All
Thanks
right.
for having me.
Yes, sir. Anytime, you're more than welcome. This is Post Game Sports. Make sure y'all hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if y'all haven't subscribed already. Low post, mid post, high post, Post Game Sports. We out, baby.
Yes.